Hi there, Ezekiel here. There was great excitement this week in the British Houses of Parliament as a very special visitor from Ukraine dropped in. To update you on the VIP visit, I have invited Air Vice Marshal Twinkie Flash to update you all. Indeed, young man. Twinkie to friends, Flash to my enemies. Air Vice Marshal A.A.F. Romeo Alpha Foxtrot Wrath, not to be confused with Riff Raff. Talking of which, after an initial recce and sortie of the Houses of Parliament, it was decided to bring in the V.I.P, Volodymyr in person, to make his now historic speech in Westminster Hall. The Riff Raff were all there, all the old failures. Even Liz Truss had the brass neck to show her face. They waited like eager children at a pop concert. The atmosphere was electric, but then of course they can afford heating. As the VIP was led in by House Speaker Linseed Oil, a huge chair and thunderous applause broke out. It was beautifully staged. Linseed then made his incredibly dull speech as Volodymyr struggled to stay awake, as indeed we all did. Something about tea and Eccles cakes, rambling and utterly bizarre, finishing with a rousing shout of Slava Ukraine. Then Zelensky spoke, a standing ovation before he even began. Several followed, but then again, there were cameras present and one had to be seen to be on board, of course. He referenced the great British character. Search me, old boy. Blew an awful lot of smoke up an awful lot of arses, even referencing to Bravo Oscar Romeo India Shit for Brains Johnson, who he clearly knows nothing about, doesn't seem to comprehend that he only visits Ukraine when he's in the shit over here. It's a bally good photo op, though. When I think of the bleach-blonde scally, I always remember the advice of my grandfather, God rest his soul, who said, never ever trust a man who has no control over his joystick and can't keep his cockpit clean. Bad form. I thought it was very kind of Zelensky not to reference our recent catastrophic betrayal of Afghanistan and its women in particular, or even our what now seems distant, equally catastrophic and criminal illegality in India Romeo Alpha Quebec with that other arsehole, Tango Oscar November Yankee Doodle Bitch Boy Blair. Just before the big ask, Zelensky presented linseed oil with the helmet of a Ukrainian fighter ace for effect. Linseed held it aloft for everyone to have a look at, and there were great cheers throughout Westminster Hall. Sorry, I'm not sure what happened there. Then it came, out of nowhere, Zelensky referencing the words on the fighter ace's helmet. We have freedom. Give us wings to protect it. More rapturous applause. And then I looked over at the Prime Minister, little Sunak, and the leader of the losers, Steer Karma, and noticed their rictus faces as the penny finally dropped. They appeared publicly to have just agreed to give combat fighter jets to Ukraine. There followed more clapping, everyone wanting to shake Zelensky's hand at the end of the speech. Then off he went to see the king. Marvellous PR. There were references in the news to Churchill and Zelensky giving the UK a V for victory sign as he left. Of course, a week later, and we gave our partner in the fight for democracy a very different V sign. One that says, I am afraid there won't be any fighter jets coming your way anytime soon. In fact, it could be years before we can train any of your fighter pilots to fly our jets. Sorry, we seem to have got caught up in the hysteria surrounding your visit. I swear I could hear the fuck all the way from Kiev. As compensation for the terrible news, he was paid a visit by Steer Karma, who was desperate for a photo op. And he told Zelensky that he had his back. Not something you really want to hear from a reptilian backstabbing bastard like Steer Karma. After all, he had Jeremy Corbyn's back 2 years ago. Treacherous little shit, not to be trusted. I am slightly ashamed, as indeed we all should be. How many more of Zelensky's countrymen are going to die before we give him what he needs to finish the job? His countrymen are doing the dying so that you lot have the freedom to go out on a Saturday night and vomit, defecate and piss all over your town centres, have a kebab or a Mackie D and throw the waste into the gutter as you stumble home, weed-addled and rat-lost. And that's just the over 50s. Freedom, eh? I think the Ukrainians understand it well. I'm not at all sure that we do. Linseed oil's end of speech shout of Slava Ukraine sounds hollow indeed today.